Hi everyone, welcome to Annie Unleashed. Today I'm going to share with you the number one thing that most of my clients don't know about the interest rates on their credit cards. I'm going to give you a tip and some helpful advice about what you can do if this happens to you. If you're a new member, welcome. Please subscribe to support the channel so I can do more of these videos. And if you're a returning member, I appreciate you so much, your support and the conversation in the comments. You are welcome here. So let's get started. If you've ever had a cardholder disclosure statement, it looks like this. It is about a 4-page document. Now, this usually comes when you are getting a card renewal or a card replacement in the mail. What most people miss is this really important line when they're talking about annual interest rates. Normally what they do is they outline your current interest rate on your card, and if you do balance transfers, there's a different interest rate, but here's the line that most people miss. Let me read it out to you. If you do not make your required payment by the due date 2 times in any 12-month period, your interest rate may increase to fill in the blanks on purchases for at least 12 months. Now, in this case, this particular credit I've got has an interest rate of 14.9%. Not the highest, not the lowest, it's okay. For this particular card, if I miss the required payments by the payment due date 2 times in any 12-month period, the interest rate goes from 14.9% to 25.99% on purchases and 27.99% on cash advances, balance transfers, convenience checks for at least 12 months. That means that the interest rate goes from 14.9 to 25 or 27.99 for 1 year, for 12 months straight. Now, most people miss this, and everybody that I know has missed one payment on their credit card for whatever reason. I've done that. I'm a financial planner and I have missed a payment on my credit card when I was doing them manually. I was checking the bill, checking all the details, and then manually going into my bank account and sending a payment. I don't do that anymore. That's one of my tips is if you are not on Autopay, that is definitely a tool that can help you keep your payments on time. But here's the real tip that I wanted to tell you that I actually teach my college students. So I'm a professor of financial planning and insurance. And one of the things that I teach my college students and I teach my clients is if you miss a payment, don't panic. Just call the credit card company. Even if it's by a few days or a couple of weeks, call the credit card company, especially if you've got a long history of being on time, and say, I missed this completely by accident. Can you please make sure that my interest rate doesn't increase on my card? They're usually totally fine to put it back, no harm, no foul, and you're good to go. Even if you do it twice in a 12-month period, like this document says, I would still call the credit card company and ask them for a second chance. Most of the time, they will accommodate you, especially if you have a long history with them and you've usually been really good on payments, they're likely to accommodate you. But if you don't call and you forget and you miss the payment and your interest rate goes up significantly, then you got to do some creative accounting. I'm not asking you to do anything illegal, but what I mean is you may want to move the debt that you've got on this super high interest rate card to one that is lower. Okay, now you've got to look into some details in terms of the fee for balance transfers and whatnot, and that can be a dangerous game for people who are not disciplined and who are not keeping track of their numbers. But that's why it's good to have more than one credit card. You should always have an emergency card anyway. I always recommend at least 2 credit cards. One is your main one and one is your backup, because that's happened to me, where one card gets defrauded and suddenly you have to use the other one for a while until the new one comes in the mail in about 2 weeks. But it's also about leveraging the relationships you have with banks because they're trying to compete for your business. If one bank isn't serving you, you go and talk to the other bank to see if they can help you with your needs and your goals in terms of managing your finances and your budget and your bank account and the fees that they charge and the interest rates that they have and all of that. they are competing for your business. So always have at least 2 cards. Hope you enjoyed this video on the number one thing that most people miss about the interest rates on their credit cards. If at all possible, please stay on time with your payments. But if you don't, please be aware that your interest rate could significantly increase to a way that's detrimental to you, and it would stay there for 12 months straight. Hope you found this helpful. I will see you in the next one. Take care.